So much for joining the Sue Free Show, and I'm just so thankful to be with you today. You know, we just got past doing the holidays of resurrection, and wow, it's amazing. You know, God is always there. But during the time when we had sunrise service, and to just feel his presence and to see the people, there was just this, I don't know, just this anointing in the room. And it wasn't even in the room, it was in an amphitheater and it was freezing outside, but it didn't seem to matter because it was just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And during this time, my sister came to visit me. And my sister is with me today. Her name is Darcy. And Darcy owns a company that's called Pilates on Purpose. And some of you might know what Pilates is, and some of you might not. And Darcy's been doing it for a long time. I'll let her tell you how long she's been doing it. And she's really good at her craft, and it's a God-given talent that she has. Her hands are like healing hands. When she puts her hands on you, you just feel that there's going to be healing that happens, and it's wonderful. So Darcy, I'm so thankful that you're here with me today.
I'm really thankful too, and humbled to be with you and excited to share.
Good. That's really good. This show has been around. We've been doing this for 17 years, and I don't think I've ever had you on the show.
No, it's the first time.
First time. Yeah. Isn't that great? Yeah. So we're just going to get into it. And you've owned Pilates on Purpose since 2009. Wow. That's a long time. And what was the specific purpose or mission that sparked you to open your own doors in Costa Mesa?
I think my mission was to empower people to move better, to feel strong in their bodies. And because I've had physical therapy background, I noticed that the health and fitness industry, which I had been in since college, focuses on surface extremities and not core value and core centeredness. So that made a big difference. And I found that while working with people, I was able to heal them in many ways.
Yes, I've seen you. I've been to your studio a couple times and seen your, you don't call them patients, clients.
Clients?
Yes, and but they are kind of patients too, in a way. Yeah, and you work on the mind too, the mindset of the person. And I work on the mindset too, because I feel a lot of people don't believe. And what they don't believe is it doesn't happen because they don't believe that it's going to happen, so it doesn't happen. And with you kind of build them up in a way to where they realize that with some action, something can improve.
Yes. You talk about on your show the affirmations and how important it is to affirm yourself.
Right.
We all have the stinking thinking. We say things about ourselves.
Yep.
We also say things about our body.
Right.
If something isn't working properly, a wrist, a knee, whatever it is, we tend to speak into it negatively and with frustration. But if we notice how we're feeling and then perhaps find ways to move that assist that, breathe that assist that, and work mind, body, and soul together, it makes a big difference on the overall outcome for the person.
You get up really early in the morning to take care of your clients too. I mean, I'll call you sometimes early when I'm up and you're already at the studio and you're already having a client that you're helping.
Yes.
That might be their only time that they can meet with you.
Yes.
And your studio is on 17th Street, right?
Yes, 17th Street off of Westminster, 17th, Costa Mesa, Newport Beach border.
Right. Yeah, people come from far away to come visit because you're worth it.
Yes, thank you. I do have clients that have been with me for a number of years, 25 years, probably the longest client that I have, all age groups, young to old, and I am blessed to have a following. It's wonderful.
Right, and you have teachers.
Yes, I have 7 teachers that do an amazing job for me. They range from about 25 years old to 60. So quite a range and very talented and a real depth of knowledge there. So, and I'm also working with the other new teachers that are becoming certified.
Right. And we've talked about stories of people that we impact, both our customers or clients, For me, it's customers. For you, it's clients. I call mine clients too, I guess. Anyway, and also people that are working with you that you're training and teaching them, and their stories about how you watch them blossom. You watch them grow in their understanding, in their ability to deal with people, all of that. And we talk about that sometimes because there's something about that, the impact that we have
Yes.
with what we're doing in all our areas of what we do. There's impact. There's a specific case, perhaps orthopedic or spinal injury, where you saw the Pilates methodology completely transform someone's quality of life. Talk about that.
I have one client in particular. I have a few clients, but one in particular. She started with me and she was in extreme pain. She had spinal stenosis, but also compression of the spine. So that means that the spine is being squeezed laterally, but also compressed. So she was in extreme pain and willing to try just about anything to get out of the pain. And I feel so sad for people because that leaves them vulnerable to drugs, to doctors that maybe aren't going to help.
Yeah.
But I was able to reach her. We were able to get connected with an orthopedic. And through the prehab we did, she had a successful surgery. And her recovery was phenomenal. And she's walking today and she's back with me. She had to lie on her side for more than 6 months.
Oh, my goodness.
And the surgery was, so many hours, multiple surgeries. But she's doing well now and really blessed to be working with her.
That's really good. I don't have a story like that to tell. I don't.
She can walk again.
Yes.
It's pretty exciting.
And mine is they have no bugs.
Yay!
But
that is life-changing.
No diseases and all of those things. So
Yes.
It is important what we do, for sure. Yeah. So in your 25 plus years of experience, what's the biggest misconception people have about Pilates, especially regarding injury recovery or MS?
I think people believe that Pilates is basically for stretching. They don't feel it's difficult, right? Or making you sweat. And if you do it correctly, it's targeted from your core. So the central core is the abdominals, but also lateral core and rear core, which we all know, well, most of us do, especially myself. The glutes are the largest muscle in the body. Right? So it's very powerful, the back line of the body, and it comes to the front. So learning how to engage that properly protects you. It's like an insurance policy for everything you want to do, and it makes you more powerful. It also prevents injury because most of us use our extremities, arms and legs. When we're weak in the core and we don't know how to find central core engagement, we tend to use our shoulders more, our hips more, and then it starts to go peripheral into the knees. Mm-hmm. We basically become weaker as an instrument, and this is where we live. So you want to be as strong as you can for as long as you can. So learning how to do Pilates correctly is huge because it's resistance training, full extension and resistance all wrapped in one. So it makes your mobility and agility so much better. That's why so many athletes, golfers, tennis players, basketball players, football players now are doing Pilates.
Right. I know. There's a lot of people that I tell them that you have this, and what's that? They still don't know what that is,
right.
And there's a lot of misconception about what it is. And I can remember doing it along with yoga once. I did yoga once, and I'm thinking, oh, how hard could it be? And I was on vacation, and I'm a dancer. I was dancing 3-4 times a week. I stretch all the time for dancing, and I'm doing a lot when I'm doing dancing. And I am telling you, same with Pilates, is I did it, and I didn't really feel the pressure at the moment in time. I didn't feel that I was really stressing out my muscles or anything, but I could hardly move the next day. That was me, because it was so different from what my normal routine is. And so it was just different. And I felt like it opened me up to another idea. I didn't even know that muscle existed. I didn't even know that I could hurt there. And so I think that's interesting. Do people that come for the first or second time, do they get that experience too?
Yes, absolutely. Because you're working your secondary movers and your primary central core movers. So most of us focus on the front of the body, the quads, those four muscles on the front of your leg,
yeah.
but they kind of forget about the inner thigh, adductors and abductors outside. So when you start contracting all of those muscles, it's surprising when you start shaking. That's where the Pilates shakes come from. And the deep core muscles, because they kind of fall asleep. So we wake those up and we call them the Pilates zingers at the end of the workout. You feel, a little shaky. So it's really good to do that. And it's protection for your joints because you're working all the stability for the joints.
Wow, that sounds like it'd be good for any age.
Any
no matter
age.
where you are and what
Absolutely.
you're doing. No matter how athletically fit you are and how unathletically fit you are. It seems like it could be a way of getting stronger.
Yes.
And better agility so that maybe not tripping, falling, and getting hurt as much.
Yes. One thing about Pilates is we can take someone that has had head trauma that can't really walk yet. We can start them on the reformer.
Oh, wow.
And you can work all the way to someone that's competing in Cirque du Soleil or in a show, ballerinas. So there's such a range. That's one of the reasons over 25 years ago I fell in love with it.
Yeah, I remember when that happened. I remember that. And I'm like,
I've never been the same.
No, you haven't. You haven't been the same. Can you tell me a story of one of your clients that you've had where not only was it the Pilates, but it was your input with their mind and helping them just cope with whatever's going on? Because I have a feeling, you see the same people like over and over again. So it's not like a bartender because they see the same people too, and they like this one bartender because they could tell their story, and bartender just and maybe gives advice. I don't know, but I think that it's a little more intimate in the setting you're in, and you have the person for 30 minutes or an hour.
Hour usually.
Yeah, and I know that during COVID and everything, you would drive to people instead of them coming to the studio because you couldn't have the studio open, so you were pivoting. Like all of us business owners needed to do during that time. And you would take your equipment on the road and you would deliver and you would go there and work with the person there. It's very one-on-one or couples. If I remember you saying that you do couples. That seems like it would be really cool because they would be working side by side, but at their own level. Like wherever they were.
Yes.
And that's really great. But is there a time or a story that you can tell that would help other people that are thinking, I still don't understand much about this, but, and you'll be able to get your website to them so they can see it in action. But I don't know if that would be for me, and how do you know if you're going to a good one? And, all those questions, those frequently asked questions that would be asked.
Right.
If you want to answer those, that would be great.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Pilates has exploded in the last 15 years, right? The last year, we've had probably 15 new studios open in a 5-mile radius. So you have a lot of new people in the market. One thing that differentiates Pilates on Purpose and myself is that I have the history, the knowledge, and the base. So you know that there's a deep education process happening there. I spent 5 years in a physical therapy clinic, so I have an eye for movement. That's really important. I think getting back to your question, is there a story or an experience that you've had that I can I can share? I've had one recently where I had a client come in, and I won't use her name, but I was introduced to her by another client. I was referred, which is the highest compliment, of course, and I know you know that, right? And that's where I get many of my clients. And she came to me in the hopes that I could, quote, cure her. Now, she had been to doctors. They wanted to do surgery, and she'd had a knee replacement and things such as that. But I noticed with her, she had an extreme Achilles problem. Now, it wasn't on the knee that she had replaced, it was on the opposite side. So what's so incredible about Pilates is it reveals improper movement patterns. And when you have a trained eye, you'll have people going through the basic choreography of foot movements, leg movements, and those things begin to reveal themselves. Not a lot has to be said, but I find that when you get people talking a little bit while they're working out, things do come out. Right?
Yes.
Also using tactile cues, tapping, help people relax and help them relieve some of the energy that they have stored in their body. If there's been trauma, a fall, an injury, most of us don't realize, but we store all of that in the cells of our body. And I know you've experienced that personally. So when I put my hands on someone, I'm able to tap on them and reorganize some of that and help their mind focus differently. You have the synapses that are going to the distal part of your body. So let's say your legs. Sometimes if there's an injury, there is kind of a rusty circuit. You can't get the information there. So by using tactile cues, we're getting people more able to connect with those aspects of the muscles and the body, and then having them connect themselves with their hands so they can help fire those muscles or look at those muscles. So doing this for so many years, having a trained eye and having the level of experience I have, I think makes me a unique practitioner in that way.
Absolutely. You're listening to The Sue Fries Show. Sue Fries, spelled like fries, one word.com. And I'm talking to Darcy, my sister, my lovely sister that I adore. And she owns a company called Pilates on Purpose. I love the name of her company. You know, the Sue Fries Show is about purpose. And so when she says, I really think I've got the name, and she told me that, I'm like, I love that name. I love that name. And I still love that name, Pilates on Purpose, because we need to be intentional in this world. We need to be intentional about what we're doing and intentional about our purpose. And she is definitely intentional about hers, and she takes it seriously, and her clients get the reward. They get the benefit of her knowledge, and her discernment is also so important. Just, people say things, but there's things that aren't said that are just equally as important as what is coming out of the mouth. The body language, like she said, there's things that happen that she sees that they're moving a certain way, and that movement could be causing a problem for healing or whatnot. I remember that it clued me into, because you brought up, that I experienced this myself. And when I shattered my leg and I was in a cast and I had to learn how to walk all over again, I had a friend who, she was very tactile like you and knowledgeable, but she didn't have the degrees. She didn't have all of that. But she was so good, and she was so strong about what she was saying, what she was thinking. And she would spend hours, her eyes closed, just putting her fingers like in the muscle of my leg and just moving just a slight to the right, slight to the left, and pressure on everything around in my leg that wasn't, it was atrophied because it had been sitting, healing for all this time. And then she'd get me up and have me walk, and she would watch how I walked. Now, think about this, people. We learn how to walk when we're 18 months old, 2 years old. We're not thinking about what we look like when we walk. We're not thinking about what we're doing even. And so when she'd say, no, you need to roll your foot. You need to roll your foot. You can step on your heel and roll your foot. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm walking. And she'd go, no, do it again. And it was interesting because the same thing you were talking about is what she was doing. She would see that I was doing something incorrectly, and it was going to cause my leg not to heal right. And I got the opportunity at that moment in time to change my strut, to change my walk to how I wanted to walk, because, when you learn when you're 2, you're not thinking about that. So I got to change how I was walking. And I think the patients, clients, that you are working with is that you have the opportunity to change something. It could be their posture. It could be how they sit down, how they stand up. I mean, I bet you kind of are watching that all the time. You
Yes.
don't say it, but I have a
Yes.
feeling you're constantly watching those things. And
Yes. And I think
very interesting.
Yes, I think what you're speaking into is movement patterns.
Yeah.
And I love watching movement patterns and diagnosing from movement patterns.
Yeah.
Getting back to Karen, the one I was sharing with you, she had an Achilles problem on one side, but she had a knee replacement on the other side.
Yeah.
Which was happening is she was leaning into the side that didn't have the knee replacement, and she was creating an overuse injury.
On the other
Yes. So
foot,
once I got motion in her
On the
knee
knee part,
replacement side and the function of her ankle, a lot of
Right.
it was in the feet. It was so stiff. So we had to open up the feet, and so many issues come from our feet.
Yes.
It's the base of everything. So once working with her body in totality, not just going straight to the Achilles, she has better function. And now in probably 3 to 4 weeks, she's out of Achilles pain. She's got a home program. And the problem is when you fix it too early, they tend to travel more and don't come back. So hopefully I get to see her this week. But I'm thankful we've been able to help her.
Yeah, there's some people that understand the importance of continuing on.
Yes.
Some people say, "Oh, I'm getting the fix, so I'm
Yes,
I'm done
it's
now.
a
I'm
practice.
good. I'm good."
It's a
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah.
It's preventative. It's kind of like taking your vitamins and drinking water and exercising.
Right.
It doesn't really store up.
Right.
You know?
You have to
So
keep
we
doing
have
it.
to keep doing it. Yes. It's work security for me, business security, but for people, you definitely have to just reinvest in your health.
Right.
Make it a decision.
That's so great, Darcy. So how can people get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me at pilatesonpurpose.com. You can also reach out to me directly at Darcy at pilatesonpurpose.com, DARCI, Pilates on Purpose, as it's said.com. And I would love to answer any questions about Pilates. You know, it's funny, men don't think Pilates are for them until they try it, and then they are more hooked on it than the women.
You said golfers.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It
And
helps their swing. It gives them more whatever.
distance.
Yes.
And
More power. Yeah.
Yes. I know you know this, but one of my first mates growing up was Scotty Cameron of the Scotty Cameron putter. He designed the Scotty Cameron putter. So in junior high school, we would go out and hit balls, and he would redo clubs. And then our stepdad loved golf, and so I played golf quite a bit with him.
We have to cut you short. We'll be back right after this brief break.
Okay.
Sorry. We know where to look, what to use, and when to act. Through environmental stewardship and advocacy, Termite and Pest Control protect people, homes, and businesses.
We know pests and what solutions are strong enough to control pest infestations.
We know what to use, with the latest options plus alternatives to eliminate pests while protecting valuable property.
We know it's more than eradicating pests.
It's balancing effectiveness with environmental responsibility.
For sponsoring this show. I am so thankful that Ecola has been there to sponsor this show. And listen, if you need a termite pest control service, we are here for you. Insulation also, we're doing that, and rodent exclusions. Also, we are hiring. We have 7 offices. We cover from San Diego to San Luis Obispo. I know, right? Top 100 company in North America. And we need career-minded people that love to meet new people, because we meet new people every day, and we are problem solvers. We solve problems, And we want to solve any pest control, termite control, rodent insulation problem for you. So give us a call today, 877-332-BUGS. That numbers for that is 2847. So 877-332-2847. Please call us and let us take care of you. We really want to be able to do that. We've been in business since 1983. I've been doing this for 46 years. I know, right? This radio show, been doing this for 17 years. I'd love to hear from you. I really would love to hear from you. Just go to Sue Fries, spelled like fries, one word.com. You can email me there. Tell me what's going on. Tell me if you need prayer, what you need prayer for. I don't have all the answers. I don't even suggest that I have all the answers, but I have resources. So whatever you need, I probably know somebody that could maybe help you. So just get in touch with me. I'm the only one that reads the emails, so feel free, and don't worry about it. It'll just be me, and you can trust me with that, okay? All right. So the first segment, we were talking to my sister, Darcy, and she's on the air with us right now. We are live on Tuesdays. So radio people, if you want to see us live, just go on Tuesdays to YouTube or Facebook at Sue Fries Show, and you can see us live. So you can hear the show, you can watch the show. I have guests. Sometimes I'm by myself. Maybe you want to be a guest. You can be a guest. Tell me what your story is. Tell me the message you want God to give to the people listening. I have quite a listenership. I really do, and it's exciting. I always think I'm talking to women, but what I find is that I'm talking to a lot of men, and I find that interesting. And so with that all said, we're going to get back into the show with my sister, who owns a studio called Pilates on Purpose. You might have been here for the first segment, but if not, welcome to the second segment, and we're going to continue on. What is the most valuable lesson, Darcy, that you took away from your early days at the Fitness Institute that you still apply to your teaching today?
I think one of the most important is professional standards. Having an elite program for athletes, but also being able to serve a community that might be recovering from injuries, or surgery, whether it be hip replacement, knee replacement, torn ACL, MCL, whatever it is, we're able to serve them in a really positive way. Mm-hmm. And I really feel that your health is your wealth. That's really,
you can't buy it.
Because you can't buy it. Yeah. And your body is where you live, mm-hmm. and it's where you integrate into the world and experience the world. Mm-hmm. So having a more powerful body, one that you feel strong in, is so important. So, but I think starting at the Fitness Institute in college was where I learned most of that. And a little trivia, Steve Garvey was one of the founders of the Fitness Institute. So when I was 19 years old, I started working in the fitness industry through college and started to learn about oxygen uptake, VO2 max, how to get the most out of your activity, heart, all of it. So it was really a great way to begin and to learn more about ultimate fitness levels and how to achieve those and always improve.
That's really good. So there might be a listener, there is a listener listening right now going, Orange County. I live in Orange County. And I'm interested, but I'm not sure. I kind of want to know what it feels like to walk into your studio and what's the experience. Because, we all, for Ecola too, is I want the experience to be really great. I want people to have a great experience, even though we're killing bugs and we're protecting your most expensive investment, your home and your family and your environment. I want people to have a good experience. And so how do we design that? So if this person listening, or this group listening, or these 100 people that are listening right now, let's not think small, Darcy, but they're listening and they're going, okay, I'm curious, what would it be like for me to come to the studio? What are the process? What's the process?
The process is you can come to the studio and take a look at the studio. You can also see a view of the studio online. We're in Paseo 17, right on 17th Street. It's a beautiful, beautiful Santa Barbara style building with a courtyard, restaurants. It's a great destination. And then we have the treehouse up above. So we're above and we get to look down on all of it. So there's privacy, yet you're in a hub where you have access to everything. I think the first thing that I would like our new clients to feel is welcome.
Yeah.
One of the first things that I say to them is, you belong here. You don't have to wear something special or feel like you fit in. The big thing is that you're committed to your personal health. And I love the feeling at the studio with our other clients too, because they've been in that position of being new and they're so supportive. And I hope that people see the light of the Lord at the studio. It's not something that I necessarily lead with, but it's definitely something that I hope people feel when they're at the studio, that it's different here, and not maybe always knowing why,
Right.
but wanting to come back because they feel welcome.
Right, and loved. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And educated, being able to teach them things that there's golden eggs all the time. And every time it's different because people show up in a different place in their body,
Right.
either emotionally or something has happened or they're rushed or whatever. So I try to take a moment and pray before I meet with them, and be receptive to what I'm getting from them. So some of it is empath work, trying to understand other people, and then kind of working through where they are today. But I know that when they come to the studio, it'll always elevate. They should feel better than when they came. That's our goal.
That's great. We have that goal too. Yeah.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I like that.
And they'll get a great workout. So that's the important thing, is that they feel like they've exercised their mind, their body, and got more connected with themselves and connected with others too in the process.
And you have different programs,
yes.
right? So
Yes, we have private, semi-private, trio, and group classes. The group classes are different because there is a kind of a set class pace. It might focus on a particular thing. So when someone comes, they'll say, oh, this class is more of a beginning class. But what's unique about our facility is you can have someone that might be more beginner go to an intermediate, and we can provide modifications for them. For example, a wrist injury. Maybe they injured their wrist, so we can provide options for them to do similar exercises during that class. So it
Right.
just, modifications are really important because every week we're not in the same place with our
Right.
bodies. I'd like to think we are, but
Yeah.
if you live life, if you don't live in a bubble, we're not for sure. But
Right.
that doesn't mean you can't exercise.
and some of these exercises you learn, you could actually do at home too if you needed to.
Yes,
Some of them.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And some people will do a travel program, like I'll give them a vacation series. And then sometimes they love to do it, and sometimes they don't love to do it. But there's
Right.
usually 1 or 2, 3 exercises
Right.
that they will do. I told you that
Yeah.
the bozo factor of just giving 1, 2, or 3 things to people, we
Right.
laughed about that.
Yeah.
It just helps because at least you have a go-to. And the best exercise is the one you'll actually do.
That's true.
That's true. Yes.
That's true. Just like a habit only works if you do it. And it's like the people that join the fitness studios in
Yes.
January
Yes.
for the
Oh, yes.
right, and then they
The
buy the
February
membership.
dropout. Yes.
And they think that they're going to get the results without doing the work.
Right.
And things just don't work that way. And not just in fitness, in anything.
My clients tell me that if they could pay me to do the work for them, that they would be happy to pay me way more for that. And I go,
Right.
I would gladly do it for you because
But
I
it wouldn't
enjoy
help
it so
them,
much.
right?
No.
It's not going to help them at all.
It's the
Yeah.
process, right?
Yeah, the process. As the industry evolves, how are you currently adapting the curriculum at Pilates on Purpose to meet the changing needs of the Costa Mesa community?
We are targeting more health and longevity, and I think I've been going in this direction for quite a while. We have an aging populace, the birth rates have gone down, and people are looking to have a higher quality of life. We're living longer. We want to have more life in our years, right?
Yes.
Maybe not just live longer, but live well, live fervently, live actively. And so,
Amen.
Amen to that.
Amen.
Creating an opportunity and a way for people to understand the process, understanding mobility, understanding agility, understanding the brain, how we need to exercise the brain with breath and movement, taking verbal cues, taking hand signal cues, using different aspects. You were talking about dancing, how we've loved dancing for so many years. Dancing is so great because you have to learn combinations, steps, flow. You have to mirror a partner, if you're dancing with a partner. So all of those things are so good for the mind-body experience and good for the brain processing. In Pilates, we do some of the exercises lying down. So it changes your whole perception because you're lying down. So what's up, what's down, what's left, what's right. It's really different. So taking verbal cues, understanding it's a process, and it really does stretch the brain, stretches the body, and really challenges the mind. Yeah. So we're working more toward longevity, and I'm doing some Hume Health Scale where we connect and have people weigh themselves not only by weight, but it does a biometric measure on that. So we get to know hydration level, we get to know body fat index, and it actually shows a picture of the body to see if it's visceral fat around your organs in your midsection. All of these things are such great tools to provide benefits to our clients, and then we're partnering with other health resources to bring the whole process together. So I'm planning on launching that this year, and I'm really excited about that.
That sounds exciting.
Yes.
It does. It does.
Yes.
Well, you were talking, the word that just kept coming up were habits. Our habits. I talk about, praying about, guard my eyes, guard my mouth, guard what I eat, guard what I say. What am I looking at? What should we be looking at? And it says if your right eye causes you to stumble, pluck it out. I don't think literally the Bible is saying to pluck it out, but if it's causing you to sin, then it's not a good thing. So I think about habits and habits of, going to Starbucks to get a cup of coffee or making mushroom coffee at home. Just these simple habits. And I'm sure that your clients, with their learning more about their mobility or lack of mobility and why they have that, and learning how to do things differently, or all of that, I think that you're creating new habits. And habits, they say, take 21 days to create a new habit. So you have to train your mind to get comfortable with this new habit, and then it becomes habit, and it's like you don't know any other way. You just do it like that.
Yes.
And with dance, learning a move correctly. If you learn it wrong, it takes harder to relearn it the right way. So it's much better to learn right the first time, right?
Yes.
Because to undo what you know, it's more difficult than just learning it right the first time.
Retraining.
So I just don't want to learn wrong. Just if I'm going to learn something, I want to learn it right the right time, the first time. So if you are interested in learning Pilates, you want to go to a place where you're going to learn correctly. Not all are equal. I could say the same with termite companies. They're not all equal. Pest control is not all equal. You want to go to the person that knows the most, that can help you the most. It's like I tell my employees sometimes is, it's not how long you spend. If you have brain surgery needing to be done, you're not looking for someone to spend a lot of time in your brain. You just want the person that spent the most time learning how to do it right. And if you get that, then it's worth the cost of having them in there less time, because they know what they're doing and they've already spent the time. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the same thing applies with Pilates, or same thing applies in the termite and pest control world. It's not how long we spend, it's that we get the problem solved, that we do it right the first time.
Yes, I think it has to do with precision and technique. So oftentimes there are a lot of new people in the market doing Pilates. There isn't the technique base because it's learned quickly and they're moving fast. And to learn something, you get back to the basics. You move slowly through space, time under tension, and you understand where the epicenter of that motion comes from. And then it moves out. When you start to begin that at the core and move out, that's where the magic.
The results are going to happen
Yes,
quicker
they
and
do.
better.
Technique matters.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, in everything.
In everything.
Right? We were taught that when we were very young. Technique matters.
Yeah.
Do it right.
Do
Our
it
dad,
right.
do it right or do it over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
So
That's right.
I find that is a differentiator in our marketplace. And people feel that when they come to the studio. And they feel safe because they know we know our stuff. And if they listen, they won't get hurt.
Right.
And there are not a lot of places out there where you can go. You're left to your own devices.
Right.
And a lot of times people get injured in transition from one exercise to the other. They don't understand the equipment.
Right.
They stick their foot in the wrong place, whatever it is. So we want people to be safe, whole, and leave feeling better than when they came. Always.
Yes. I was thinking about cruise ships and people that go to the gym on the cruise ships. And you have all these different stations on the cruise ship, and they're going and they're facing the wrong way. I'm sure that was probably me at one time too. I was like, I'm sure it was. If there was no picture to tell me which way to sit because I wasn't familiar with that piece of equipment. And I understood that, slower is better because you're making all muscles, fire instead of going, really fast.
Time under tension.
Time under
yes.
tension. I'd never heard that before. I like that. Time under tension.
And we all get better because of that, right?
Yeah, and that's so many different ways. I mean, that is on
Yes.
so many different levels
Yes.
of this life journey we're on together. Time under tension. I love that. I'm going to have to use that.
Good. I hope you do.
I'm going to use that one. That's really good. All right, so we're getting near the end here, Darcy. So I don't want to miss anything that you feel is vitally important. I know that there's been prayer that's gone into this. 5 minutes, he just said. So I just want to make sure that there's nothing that we haven't said that you feel would be very important for the listeners. My heart is that I want people to know about this. If they're close to where you are or if they want to drive, great. But if somebody wants to get better, we cannot buy health. We can't buy our health. And I'm going to live till I'm 107. I've said that since I was very, very young.
Yes.
My sister can
You
attest to
have.
that. And it has changed my thought process on what I eat, what I drink, and, when I drink. And all of those things matter. Like, I'm not a soda drinker. I can't even tell you the last time I had a soda because I don't think sodas are good for me. I don't feel good when I drink a soda. And my body and your body will tell you if something's good for you or not. Your body is an amazing machine that God has created, and it's up to us to protect and guard our temple. And anything we do that's not doing that, He is telling us to not. Don't do that because we can't buy our health. I have friends right now that, I've got friends that have died already. I've got friends that are very ill, and they have a lot more things that they wanted to do. They won't see their daughter go down the aisle. They can't walk their daughter down the aisle. To me, that's just so sad. And I'm just saying to each one of you, you cannot buy your health, and your health is so important. So think about what you're eating. Think about what you're drinking. Think about when you eat. People ask me these questions, like, well, what do you eat? What do you drink? And I drink different stuff. I drink healthy things.
Mushroom coffee.
That's one of them.
I'm still trying to get my
Yes.
head around that one.
Well, it's got turmeric in it. It's got a lot of good things in it. So
it's so good.
it
but
is good.
hard to
But
taste.
you got it. It's an acquired taste, but it's good. It's good, and it's good for you. I feel good when I drink it. But there's other things that I've been doing for a lot longer that I really believe have made me healthy. I am in my 60s, and I thank you, God, but I don't take any blood pressure, and I run a very large company. I don't take blood pressure medicine. I don't take hormonal anything. I never have. I'm not saying it's bad because there's a lot of people that need to. I just haven't needed to. So if you're on it, you probably need to be on it. I'm just saying that let's focus on good. Let's focus on habits that are good for us. And if we do that, I think we will extend our lives. And I think habit of going to Pilates or some type of exercise or something, dancing's mine. Make sure you're doing that. Take the time for yourself, please. Cut yourself some slack and give yourself some grace and do things for you because you need to take care of you. Like they say in the airplane, with my little kids, I'd sit there and they'd say, Mommy, take care of Mommy first. Then when you can and you've got your air, then you go and you put your mask on your child. But you have to take care of you because if you're not here, then what? Then what? It's very important that mommies, daddies, you guys got to take care of yourself. And remember what's important in life. Be present in the present. That's your present that you give to those that you love. Be intentional with your life. And that's my message for the day. And I'm hoping that you hear this message and that you maybe make the slightest change. Sometimes it's the smallest change that can make the biggest difference. Even with Pilates, huh?
Yes.
The smallest change can make a big difference.
I think the important thing is to create discipline. We don't always want to do it at the time. We're not necessarily, I don't want to say gifted movers, but we're not used to moving in that way. It's much easier to sit.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, sitting is probably the worst thing we can do throughout the day. It's really hard on our body. It tightens our body and strains our back.
Yeah.
So the more you can stand and move throughout the day is great. And having the discipline to make an appointment and show up and do it consistently, that's the game changer.
Give your how they find you again because we're almost done.
Please look me up at pilatesonpurpose.com. I'll also give out my phone number, 714-791-0449. That is my direct line. And then Darcy, DARCI, at pilatesonpurpose.com. And we usually end in prayer. You usually do. I notice that. But I always say the prayer of Jabez. And that really is amazing for me on a daily basis.
So with that, we're going to close. And you got a little taste of my lovely sister. And I want you to just think about this message today. Get in touch with Darcy if you need to. Be a blessing to someone each and every day. God bless you. Until next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was. Woohoo. Ta-da. Okay, I have to do a commercial. I do. I have the copy. Okay. Hang on. I'm going to put this up. Hi, I'm Sue Fries, the Termite Lady, owner of Ecola Termite and Pest Control. If you suspect a termite issue, you have to act fast. They're easy to ignore until they've eaten through your walls, floors, wallet. I'm going to do it again. Ready? Sorry. Hi, I'm Sue Fries, the Termite Lady, owner of Ecola Termite and Pest Control. If you suspect a termite issue, you have to act fast. They're easy to ignore until they've eaten through your walls, floors, and wallet. Waiting only makes it harder and more expensive to solve. At Ecola,